Hey everybody, and welcome to Binder Miner. And I feel like it's been a while. I've had a few boxes sitting around for quite a while. Actually, my wife and I both have a box. I picked up these Foundations Jumpstart boosters, which we've taken a look at these before. Nothing new or anything like that. But these are always cheap, nice little quick fix as far as like getting to open up a fun box. But we picked these things up, I think, for $70 on a Woot sale each. So I've got one and she's got one. We're going to dive into those individually. It'll be two different videos. But yeah, so I'm, no wasting time. Just going to go ahead and dive into this and see what we find, Hope everybody's been doing good. I've been busy. I feel like I haven't really done anything with this stuff for a while. We've been ordering cards and stuff for some decks, collections and whatnot. But as far as opening packs, we haven't really opened anything up. And then I don't know, the Spider-Man prices, Avatar prices, all of it. Especially after Final Fantasy, it's just kind of been a big downer as far as the upcoming and recent sets. It's just kind of takes the wind out of your sail when it's all just too expensive. Of course, I turn the video on and the cats start running around like madmen. So don't mind them in the background. But I don't remember if these have the inner packs or not. We'll find out. So as far as big hits and stuff to keep an eye out here, and I pulled it before, but the the cat cub, that's the biggest hit. That's a $40 card. Rev, the Tith Extractor, Kodama, the West Tree, Ophelia, Viper Whisperer, Generous Pup has gone way up in price. It's almost $13 now, which is crazy. Ancient Green Warden, Riona Fire Dancer, Villas Broker of Blood, Lotus Cobra, that's gone up, which is crazy again. Vito, Thorn of the Dusk Rose, Brimaz, King of the Araskas, I can't even say that. Dark Confidant, still there, up in price. General Crete, all those. Some of those are uncommons, like the General Crete. And of course, we've opened a bunch of these boxes. At some point, I'm really hoping to pull a Shroofus. They're not even expensive at this point. They're like $5, but we just haven't ordered one. It's one of those things where we built a fungus deck, and we just haven't been in any rush to make any changes to it, I feel like we've only got to play it a few times, so it's the downside to building a lot of decks, which I love building decks, even when they're cheap. But yeah, it does have inner packs here. But yeah, so you get a bunch of decks, and you're not going to get as much time playing them. So getting to get a feel for how the deck really plays takes a little more time, which is fine. So we got an Enchanted. If you guys haven't opened these, as always, Jumpstart's really, I'd recommend, instead of opening them like this, to play them. These are a lot more fun to play than anything else. But these packs have a lot of cards in them because you get a stack of lands. Most of the pack is going to be the same, but there's the rare or mythics and stuff like that sometimes can be different depending on different, even with the same name. So we'll just dive in and see what we get. I'm just going to focus on the rares for the most part. Edion of Astral Winds is our rare. Like I said, I think as far as our uncommons go, the General Crete and a few of those are the main ones that you can actually get that are uncommon. So mostly rares and mythics are the focus on these. And of course, these things are always hard to open. In fact, I'm just going to get a knife out. We'll keep it simple. Don't need to make you guys wait any longer than it's already going to take to dive through this. So, got a bloody pack. Markov Blade Master for the rare. We got 2 rares. Markov Enforcer as well. Stack of lands. So you guys interested in the upcoming Spider-Man set, which I guess by the time that this actually gets posted, since I'm so far behind, Spider-Man set will actually be out. So are you excited about the set that just came out? How about that? Encounter. Ricochet, Pima, Renegade for our rare. Snakeskin Veil, it's a good card. It's common, but very useful. Yeah, I don't know. Edge of Eternities is awesome. I kind of like to open some more. I really have enjoyed the set, but these other sets have just kind of killed it. I don't know. Light of the Legion. We get a Mythic as well. Micus the Lurish. I am just out of practice as far as some of these names, I guess. Soaring with blue. Spirit Noble for a rare, and we got Stolen by the Fae as well. Definitely one of those sets I wish had something like the Rhystic Study. I mean, that Sai the Cat Cub is expensive. That's a pretty valuable card at $40, which is crazy. But, you know, I mean, it is Landfall, and Landfall is kicking right now. I do have a Landfall deck, but my Landfall deck is built completely different than a traditional Landfall deck. I might actually someday build another Landfall deck. It's a deck type that I really do like, and I played it a lot in Arena, but as far as in Commander, I just have the one. Zealots, Combat Celebrant for a Mythic. Shock in there. That's a good card. I cannot believe how much the cats are just wilding out. Wow. They've just been laying around doing nothing until I get the microphone turned on. Bookworms. It was speaking of other stuff, so we do have other stuff coming, you know, not counting all these new sets, which I don't know if I'm going to buy anything for them. I do have 2 Phyrexia will be ones on order. I'm waiting for those to come in, and I did pick up the Atlanta Festival in a box, so we'll get that eventually as well. Overflowing Insight. Yeah, I haven't really posted up like any TikToks or anything like that. Without having collector boosters, it just doesn't feel. Oh, here we go. It could be the Scythe the Cat. It's a Lotus Cobra. Still good hit, but Amiga Undergrowth Champion as well. But yeah, without having collector boosters to open up, TikToks, it's just kind of like these kind of packs aren't really all that good for short format, you know. And normally we have some secret layers and stuff, but they haven't really announced anything crazy for a while after the Sonic stuff. So, which means I'm sure there's a bunch coming. But Armed, Godsend for a rare or mythic. Encounter, Forgotten Ancient for a rare. Snake skin. The Maui's kind of cool. Another Encounter with Rickshaw, Prima Renegade. Another Maui. You can see all the other stuff's pretty much the same, just other than that rare. Okay. There we go. Yeah, that's the downside though when these things are double packed. They are just a lot more of a pain to open up and they make a mess. Healers. Hinterland Sanctifier. This thing gets a lot of play. It's kind of weird though. That is a common sitting on top, hiding the Speaker of the Heavens for a rare. Johnny's Pride Mate. This thing's also really, really good. Don't know if it's worth much, but it is a very good card, at least in standard. Explorers. Sumberwald Beastmaster for rare and Barber Bridge Tracker as well. Explore, always useful for those cheap decks. Alright, Stoked. Frontline Heroism. And then a Mirror Wing Dragon is a mythic as well. I mean, other than that Lotus Cobra, I haven't really seen any of the big hits, right? Have I missed something? And I mean, Lotus Dragon at $8 is not bad. Or $8.30, I think it is. It's not too bad, but it's not gonna cover the cost of a box. Like I said before, I mean, even at $70, so these things are selling, I think, for $94, $93, $94 right now. $70 is a pretty good deal, especially if you're gonna play Like I said, I think you get a lot more value out of that. Bookworms, huh? Overflowing Insight for a Mythic. Clerics. It's our first black Jumpstart. Tabarak's Hope's Demise. Not really anything big. Wish they would all open like that. This is another red one, Stoked. Frontline Heroism. Here we go. Fun guys. So this is how we get the Shroofus. And we got a rare, could be. We finally got one. It's crazy. Like I said, it's a $5 card, but I've been trying to get one of these forever. I'm not one of those that likes to just keep pulling and pulling and pulling, trying to find that one card. But this is just one of those cards we just hadn't thrown the money down for yet. There might be a few other funguses in here that we can use in that deck, to be honest, but if we haven't already. So when we built that deck, Foundations was just getting ready to come out. And so the Shroofus is one of those we had tossed on our wish list, thinking it was probably going to be a cheap card. But it kind of popped off. It's a 1/1 3 cost, which is crazy. But it's got Trample, and whenever a Saproling you control deals combat damage to a player, create that many that many 1/1 green Saproling creature tokens. And so if you're doing a full fungus deck and it's monocolor, this is actually a pretty good commander because you just pump out a bunch of Saprolings. And those Saproling decks are all about sacrificing Saprolings and stuff like that to be able to do other things. Get life back, to ping people, destroy enchantments, anything and everything. So, heroes. Pragon, Soldier of Metis. For our rare. We got a mythic as well. Ujanta Exemplars. Faithful Pike Master there. Dinner. So it's a food deck. Huska Sweet Tooth. That's a cool looking bear. You don't see a lot of bears that are 3/3s. You know, most bears are 2/2s. Creates a food token, huh? We could use this in our bear deck. Still none of those big hits. No Rev, Tith Extractor, or Generous Pup, or anything like that yet. And we're down to 4 packs. 3 packs left there, plus this one. So it's not looking all that promising, unless I'm missing stuff, which I'm sure I am. Ghastly. Maybe. I mean, there's 4 different decent hits that are black. So maybe we get lucky there. I can get this thing open without destroying the cards. There we go. Blood Gift Demon. Not what we're looking for. Tragic Slip. Village Rights. Didn't mean to bump the camera. Sorry about that. Treasures. There we go. See, that's not a bad hit, right? Let's drop down. It's like $6. Everth, Viceroy of Plunder. I think I've pulled like 3 of these so far. It used to be a lot more. Ruthless Tachomancer as well as the second rare. Deadly Dispute. Can't really turn that down. Fake Your Own Death. There's a couple good cards in here. Alright, last 2 packs. Clerics, another black one. Tabarak's Hope's Demise for a rare. That is not a big hit. Null Priest of Oblivion for a second rare, but still not a big hit. And then, yeah. So far, kind of a bummer set. Maybe I'm wrong though. We paid $70. Remember, we didn't have to spend a fortune on this one. There's a lot of stuff on my playmat. We've been playing games, and I guess maybe I've been snacking. I think I had some pizza last time, some crumbs. All right, so this is the last pack. We'd really be benefited if we got like that Side the Cat Cub for $40. That would really, cement this as a good one, but I don't think it's going to be, especially since we got Stoked. And we've already got about 4 of these Stoked, so I don't think this is helping the situation. There really aren't very many good, expensive red cards in here. The Riona, the Fire Dancer, is the most expensive red card. It's like $10.30. Goblin Dark Dwellers, not a big hit. And there's not, Young Pioneer Rancher is a good card, but not a valuable one. And so we also didn't hit that General Crete, which is an uncommon. Anyhow, I'm going to get these scanned in. We'll just see how we did. Maybe I missed some stuff. Maybe we didn't do so well. If we didn't, maybe my wife's box will be the one to hit. So last time with the Foundations boxes, she did not so well, and I did pretty good. So maybe it's time for it to get, be on the other foot, as they say. So I'll be back in just a minute. All right, I'm back. Got everything scanned in. Spoilers, like I expected, we didn't do that one. So, not a big surprise there. As always, Foundation box, get a bunch of commons. Nothing too crazy in there. There are some useful cards in there, but as a whole, 50-50. Uncommon stack, there's nothing too crazy there. I do have some valuable commons, uncommons. And then this is all the rares and mythics that came in under $1. Really, so we had 3 cards that were over $1 and under $2. 2 of those are rares. One of them was Tireless Provisioner at being an uncommon. This bear right here is just barely. It's like $1.99. It's just barely under. For lands, we do have a big stack of the groves, the heaths, and stuff like that. And then there's a couple of these other regular lands in there, Evolving Wilds and stuff like that. There's a desert. Nothing too crazy. None of the artifact lands or anything like that. And of course, if you never opened up Foundations, you get a giant stack of lands. So you're never gonna want for basic lands. Of course, if you like full art lands, these aren't gonna help you. But these are pretty useful. If you happen to print your own proxies, these are really good backers for those too. So they do come in handy. Now, as far as the cards that are over $2, we'll just put these in order here. Crimson Wisp, this was $2.19. Pitless Plunderer, this is $2.79. And I should point out, by the way, this Crimson Wisp is a common at $2.19. Pitless Plunderer is an uncommon at $2.79. Sorry. Brigand Soldier of Melodis is $2.79 as well. That is a rare. Then we have Godsend at $3.17 for a mythic. And then that Shroofus that I've been looking for, like I said, it's a $5 card. Nothing too crazy, $5.16. And then Evereth, Viceroy of Plunder. I've pulled this a bunch of times at $6.10 now. And then the biggest hit in the whole box was the Lotus Cobra. When that's our biggest hit, things aren't doing too well. So there is also a stack of all of the little tokens that start off. These do have the nice magic backs at least. Again, just like the lands, you can use these for proxy backers or something like that. But yeah, so as far as our total value, the dollar or more value for everything I scanned was $35.76. And ideally, even without it being a big box or big hit, I'd like to see our dollar or more value be about the same as what we paid for the box. And I got a pretty good deal at $70. Even then, we're still, quite a bit lower. Just about half of that, actually. So, and then for the total value, if we count all the bulk cards here, it was $74.41. So we not at a loss there. But I would still say that we got pretty wrecked, Hopefully next time with my wife's box we do a little bit better, but we'll have to see that on our next video when she's around to be able to dive into that. And I'll tell you, it's funny for those who went all through this video. As soon as I turned the camera off, all the cats just chilled out. They stopped freaking out. So I don't know. I think they're just down and determined to make a bunch of noise while I was recording. So hopefully it wasn't too annoying. Anyhow. We'll see you soon when we go into our next Jumpstart booster, Foundations Jumpstart, and see if my wife does any better. And then, of course, like I said before, we have Phyrexian All will be 1 set boosters. We got 2 boxes of that coming, and then the Mystery Booster 2 stuff for the Atlanta Con in a box. So we'll see how that goes. We'll get that here in a few weeks as well. Until next time, though, this is Binder Minder. As always, thank you for watching. To put us in your binder, like and subscribe. Ring the bell to be notified, which is up in the corner there. You can also catch us on our social media, which is down in the description down below. So, appreciate it. You guys have a great day. Bye.